Right guys, so 2,500 points, Orcs and Goblins versus my Dread Elves. I've actually dusted them off and decided to show them the daylight. So diagonal deployment, a hold your ground objective in the middle. So I start my right flank. I've got 6 Dark Riders with a Musician and a Banner. I've got my level 4 on Fire on a Pegasus with a Focus Familiar. I've got my Dreadlord on a Pegasus there, and he's got the Ogre Blade, Armour of Destiny and some other stuff I can't quite remember at the moment. Hydra with Breath Weapon. I've got 9 Dread Knights with the Flaming Banner. I've got a level 2 of, is it Beasts now? Give me a second guys. The Law of Wilderness. I'll go take you all through the spells in a minute. 30 Corsairs with additional hand weapon. I've got my BSB on a Manticore, again with some other stuff I can't quite remember, but I'll let you know throughout the game. Dread Repeater with a multi-shot. Kraken. Dread Repeater with a multi-shot on the hill. And I've got 5 Dark Riders with Musician and Banner again. So coming over to the Orcs and Goblins on the left flank, we've got the Gargantula. We've got 5 Nasher Dashers, 6 Boar Boys there. It's got full command.
They got Banner and they got Champion. They got Lances. They basically kit it up.
So not sort of strength 7 on the charge.
That's
strength
it.
6, yeah, something like that. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 21 Orc Bowmen in the forest there with a Shaman in there who's facing the wrong way.
Is he?
Yeah. So the spells ain't going to be very good.
Pissed off, you've been eating mushrooms. Like.
Yeah, too many. Another 5 Nasher Dashers, a big block of Feral Hawks. They've got Mammoth Stabberin.
Yeah, that's it. 30 of them and paired weapons.
Nice. Trolls. So 5, 10, 21 Night Goblins with bows and nets.
That's it. No nets on this one. It's
No
just
nets,
model.
just the bows. And then we've got
This far.
the Fab Spider, who's the general, and he's kitted out. I imagine 1 up, 4 up.
Yeah.
We've got the Orcs and Goblin Rock Lobber and the Git Launcher, guys. So the Orcs and Goblins get first turn, and I'll come back to you after Vanguards. Hi guys, just giving you a quick rundown of the spells this Orcs and Goblins going through, and then we're going to go into what the Dread Elves have. I've got a level 4 on Fire and a level 2 on the Wilderness. So as you can see, we're just running through them all there quickly. I hope you can see them alright guys, so we'll crack into the game. So my Vanguard sees the Dark Riders coming up behind the tower at maximum charge length for this dude, so hopefully he won't get any funny ideas. Because if he does, I'll be running off a fucking table. These guys, I didn't really have a lot of room to move around this. I've got the Gargantula there and Nasher Dashers, which will destroy these guys. And and there's just not a great deal of room to move, so I'll just put them here, Slight Button Hill to come play a bit later. So we're going to go into first turn Orcs and Goblins, guys.
Let's do it.
Alright guys, so some nasty movement coming from the Orcs and Goblins. The Gargantula jumps over the building to start flanking the my left flank. Nasher Dashers comes out and joins him. Boar Boys move up it's like 7 inches or something to come and threaten as well. They move out the forest. They move up. This wall's actually like here, guys. Okay, so that's no effects for combat or shooting. The Big Lord comes from there today, so he's scared of my Dark Riders. The Trolls pass their stupidity and move forward slightly, and the Gobos stay on the hill, A for cover and a good shooting advantage. So we're going into Magic. Okay, so first turn Magic, guys. Orcs and Goblins sees the Blessing of the Spider Mother underneath for poison, but then realising we're out of range of all the targets. But with his attribute, Filthy Stealing, whatever it is, he nicks my Fire attribute and manages to kill 3 of my Dark Riders off, so it's quite funny. Tries to get the Great Green Hand off on the Gargantula, but I dispelled that. And then this guy tried to cast the Evil Eye on my level 4 and failed to cast. So that's the Orcs and Turns Magic, guys. We're going into shooting. Alright guys, so shooting, again these guys didn't shoot, so they're out of range. Rock Lobber here went to shoot at the Kraken and missed. The Git launcher went to shoot at the Dread Knights, landed on the Dread Repeater and decided to come back an inch, 2 inches and hit that for no wounds. These filthy little orcs had a load of shots, needing 5s and 6s, hits him, wounds him 4 times with no saves, so he's down to 1 wound left. So it's forced me to do something I don't really want to do with him now, so let's see what happens in my turn 1. Okay, so in the cowardly elf way, we've took my Dark Riders away from the big trouble over here and plonked them in front of the big green bus to try and redirect them out the way. These guys have come to do the same thing, try and redirect out the way, but I can't. It's okay if I do that actually. No. So there's a lot of manoeuvring around here to try and block line of sight and everything. I think I've just about managed it, but I'm not really sure. But we shall find out in a minute. And everything else just come around for a counter charge in case he decides to take his general in there. After realising the Kraken actually had hard target distracting, you know, my mistake, so we've kept the 4 wounds. I've actually hidden behind the forest out the way, which I'm going to bring out again in a minute. And that's it for my turn 1, guys. Oh, sorry, my oracles moved behind the building to start blanking things with a focus there as well. So we'll go into some magic. Right guys, only rolling the 3 from my magic flux. I did get a channel dice that's only my opponent. Casting from the familiar there. We put the burning ramparts on which we scrolled. And I went for a small fireball on these guys, which he dispelled with his 3 dice. So familiar now comes away again, and we're going on to shooting. So these guys shot there, did nothing. These guys shot into there, did 1 wound. This bolt thrower shot into his boar boys, killing 2 of them. They failed their panic test, and they should hopefully be off the board the next turn. The second bolt thrower went into his general. We hit him just, and then we failed to wound on a 1. So that's all the Dark Elf shooting. We're going into Orcs Goblins turn 2. Right guys, so charging for the Orcs and Goblins, saw the Feral Orcs charge into the Dark Riders who fled, and they redirected.
No, they're
going to continue to chase. These guys charged the Dark Riders who held. These guys then charged the Dark Riders who fled. So we've got to roll all this in a minute, and then they redirected into
other Dark Riders.
Into the other Dark Riders who fled again. So just to recap, them into the Dark Riders who fled, them into the Dark Riders who fled, this guy into these Dark Riders who fled, held, then they fled against the trolls. It's all a bit complicated. So that's where we're standing. So that's probably going to be a failed charge, and imagine that might be a failed charge, and we're going to see what happens with this one. Right guys, so the Feral Orcs did actually catch the Dark Riders with a huge roll of, I think it's like a 10 or 11 on the dice, so yeah, they've managed to munch them. They've got themselves into the fray here. It's going to be a bit complicated, a bit crowded on this flank. Spider Lord actually didn't catch them, but bounced into the Dread Knights, which is not going to be fun for the Dread Knights, and they failed their chase down. So Squigs into the bolt thrower, who just managed to get in, and
Rest of movement.
That's the movement done. Sorry, went into the rest of the movement. Okay, so the rest of the Orcs and Goblins move. Nashy Dashes come up here to climb the wall. Orcs failed their swift reform and just move like that, so they can't shoot. Gargantula comes up. They've passed their rally test, unfortunately, and they've moved to turn to face the shoot, the Dreadlord. So we're going into magic, guys. Look how crowded that is there, it's horrible. So guys, magic, I tried to get off Blessing of Spider Gods on these, but I managed to dispel that one. We also tried to get off, what was it? The big green hands on these, but I scrolled it. and there was another one he tried getting off, which was Evil Eye on the large version, and I just managed to stop that going through as well. So we're going to shooting, guys. Alright guys, so shooting, these guys are the Dreadlord for 6s, didn't get anything. The Splatterer, I think it's called. Splatterer, and the Git launcher, shoot at the Corsairs, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wounds with no panic. Just under the panic there, I think. So, into combat then. Fantastic. Right guys, so combat. The Nasher Dashers draw against the bolt thrower. They cause 1 wound. The bolt thrower could cause 2 wounds back. So, yep, fantastic there. Here, didn't cause any wounds, but he did 3 to me. Quite a nasty little thing, this Spider Lord. Yeah, he caused 3 wounds, but he stick around. I've got my General and BSB all in range. So, happy days. So, we're going to Dread Elves turn 2, guys. Right guys, so Charges sees my Dreadlord coming into his General, my BSB coming into his General, my Hydra, my Kraken and my Corsairs coming into his big unit. Might be the wrong idea, but it's going to be fun finding out. These guys rallied and just moved behind the forest. My level 4 stayed behind the building, but I put her familiar there ready for magic phase. So that is my turn for moving. We're going into magic, guys. Look at that, what a mess. So guys, magic saw like me getting 5 channeling again. My opponent got 4 unchanneled, so quite a close magic phase. I got Beast Within off on the Corsairs unit, absolutely huge roll, and unfortunately for my opponent, he burnt his scroll in the last turn. Yeah, I got Fireball off on these guys from my familiar, causing 2 wounds, but they are cave trolls and they've got like magic resist and arm saves and all sorts of crap going on there, so they're a lot more robust than I thought. And then I tried cascading fire on these with my last dice and failed to cast. So we're going to go into shooting. So after a good magic phase, a dismal shooting phase, bolt thrower goes as a gargantua. I hit him but failed to wound. And these guys, I'll go for a squigs, 6s and 6s. I managed to get 1 hit and failed to wound there. That's everything for shooting. So we're going into combat. Alright guys, so yeah, that was quite an interesting combat actually. The Dread Elf and the BSB and the Dread Knights killed the Spider Lord in combat and all overran into the big unit in the middle, which then they opened up a can of whoop ass and killed nearly the whole unit by like a rank and a bit. I was actually very impressed with what it did, to be honest. Very impressed. My opponent, like, he cut 1 wound off the Charybdis and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 9 from the Corsairs. So he actually like auto broke. I chased with everything. My general caught him and ran into the Nasher Dashers. These guys only ran 7 and ran into the Nasher Dashers. These guys run 7 but bump into the back of here. This guy runs like 4 and I think he's in the wrong place, but we'll have to sort that out in a minute. Yeah, so that's quite a fair bit of points for me at the moment. So
it's massive.
Yeah, massive. So I'm a bit like, wow, what happened there? So I didn't expect to win the combat in the middle, to be honest. So yeah, fantastic. So we're going into Orcs and Goblins turn 3, I think it is.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so crack on. Right guys, so they failed their stupidity test and shambled forward an inch. These guys have stayed where they are. These guys have done a swift reform and ranked up to fix. I think they're going to be charged. I don't think they will be, but they might be. Boar boys have come forward a bit, I think, haven't they?
Yep.
Shaman?
Yeah, just left the unit.
Oh, he's just left the unit.
Yeah.
He's done a runner. Gargantuan, I wonder what he's doing there. Look at him. Help me.
Yeah.
The Gargantuan has stayed where he is, and these Nasher Dashers have stayed on the hill. And that's it, guys. So going to magic. Right guys, so Evil Eye went from this guy onto here, caused no wounds. Did it on the larger version, so the 3d6. I got like 5 hits, took no damage from the spell itself, but the fireball attribute from his filthy rotty stealing, or whatever it's called.
Dirty thieving, I think.
Dirty thieving, that's the one. Caused a wound on him. You then add the Hand of Gork, it is the Great Green Hand. These guys from here to here, but in the process of doing that he actually miscast and killed 2 of his boar boy riders and passed his panic test. It didn't cause any wounds on himself. So the attribute here went off, so they get rerolls to 1. So he rerolls 1s to wound in combat. So that's what it is. We're going into Orcs and Goblins shooting. Shooting, guys. Here's the Gargantuan shooting to the Corsairs and miss. The Git launcher there, guys, shoots the... I forget now.
Git launcher hits Hydra.
Hits the Hydra, yeah, thank you, and causes 1 wound. And then the Splatterer hits the Corsairs but misfires and takes a wound in the process. So we're going to go into combat. So, combat, guys, sees these 2 win and overrun into the trolls. Other movement, I brought the Hydra from right about here to here. These guys just have a reform, turn into a bunker. The Manticore flies from over there to come behind the forest for a bit of cover. And my Oracle still stays behind the building, she's happy there smashing out spells. And my Dark Riders stay here for now. Just to try and get something on the next turn maybe. So we're going to go into magic. Just give you an overview, guys. It looks so cool from the top, man.
Yeah.
And then just ignore the dead pile, it's not over there yet.
Yeah.
It is over there. But...
It's still alive.
So magic, guys, I got 11 on the dice and I managed to channel again. It's going to be embarrassing now, all these channelings. But I managed to get Smouldering Ember and the Beast Within on this unit. So they're now like toughness 6 with a 5 up ward save and fireborn. So that's a tough little unit there. And I failed to cast everything else. I tried to get Raging Fire off from that unit, but I miscast. I tried to get something else off, so I didn't miscast, failed. And I tried to get something, a Fireball off on these guys. Which he dispelled, which is the one I really wanted to go off, to be honest. But so that's magic. We're going to go into shooting, guys. Dark Elf shooting sees nothing. The bolt thrower goes for the Gargantuan and misses. These guys take a pop shot at the Gargantuan as well and misses. So we're going to go into combat. Alright, so combat, guys, we took out 4 trolls here, and we left 1 on 1 wound. Absolutely decimated them. He tried to puke on the general and he hit him, but I managed to save him a ward save. And he took out a Dread Knight. So when in combat, they fled 11 inches. So I don't think they'll be coming back. Well, they leadership 4.
Yeah.
So I don't think they'll be coming back now. And these guys just reform to face like this. So, and that's how it stands. Go into Orcs and Goblins turn 4. Right, guys, so charges, a bit all over the place. So originally the trolls, no, it weren't the trolls, sorry, Gargantuan went to charge my Dread Knights, who fled. He then went to charge the Hydra, who fled. Everyone's passed their panic test, by the way, guys. The Goblins then charged the Dread Knight, who had to flee and managed to run through everything, fine on all the dangerous trains, so they got a failed charge. The Gargantuan, did he redirect?
You redirected.
He redirected into the general and failed. These guys charged the general, and I stood, and then I realised he hit, what's the banner called?
Minonex totem.
He had the Minimex totem, which fucking just completely makes my dude naked now. Which, by the way, I think's completely broken. But I would say that.
With this, it turns off my items as well.
Yeah, I'll have a read in a minute. These guys stay where they are. Shaman's come up. Squigs went to charge, but failed. And like I said, guys, all these are... They need to rally, but they're all fine there for the panics and so on and so forth. Trolls failed their rally test, needed 9 more to run off the table, and obviously rolled a 9. And we're going into Magic. So he tried to get off no dying on this unit, and I dispelled it. Then he got the great big hand off this unit. Rolled double 6, so I'll let it go. He rolled an 8, so both the casters took a hit, so they both managed to get a wound on them. But he's come right down here to have a shoot. Can you shoot after that? You can.
Shooting,
yeah, cool. So you can shoot after that.
I can shoot only fanatic. I can't shoot normal.
You can't shoot your bows because it's a move in it. Yeah, so that's cool. So yeah, it's just going to shoot his fanatic. So he's come down here to threaten the flank. And that's it, so we're going to go into shooting, guys. Okay. So the Orc Bowman, stop laughing, it's not fun. 10 shots to these guys and killed 1. The Rock Lobber in the corner there shot at these guys, and he overshot. Actually hit his own fanatic and failed to wound in the process. I'm not sure, does he die automatically gets hit, or does he have to...
If you get hit by... No, you need to still wound him.
You still need to wound, that's cool. So I can't remember, if like I've never played fanatics in Ninth, so... and then the Git launcher here, guys, shot at the Hydra and did hit him, got maximum amount of hits but failed to wound. So we're going into combat. Alright, so combat was a bit of a pillow fight, to be honest, guys. I didn't do anything to him, he didn't do anything to me. There's like a couple of hits each, no wounds, so on and so forth, but he won by a charge and a banner. I had my BSB reroll, which was in range, so I managed to stay on my first roll. So yeah, it's a bit disappointing, that one, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a bit of a pillow fight. So we're going to go on to Dread Elves turn 4. Right, guys, so charges. My captain went into the Gargantuan. Not really sure. I think I didn't want him to charge here. So I think that's the reason I did. I was hoping to get a charge in with these guys here, which failed miserably, by the way. Which is a bit unexpected. I only needed a 6 on the dice. This guy failed his first rally, and then he was within 18 inches, so yeah, fantastic. Managed to pass. These guys passed first time. She came out of hiding, and she's put a familiar down. I know it says magic face, guys, but I'm doing it now, so otherwise I'll, we forget to put it down. And these guys came out of hiding to take a few pop shots here. And that's it, so we're going to go into magic. It's a quick overview, guys. Right, guys, so we casted Cascade and Fire onto here. I've got to do the attribute spell for that as well, actually, quickly. D3 strength 4s, so 1 strength 4. So nothing there with the attribute either. I've got 2 hits on that. Passed both his armor saves. Tried to get Beast Within off on this unit, and my opponent, dispelled it with authority. With like rolling like 20 odd, which is a bit shit. Well, for me anyway. Familiar goes back to the Oracle, and we're going to go into shooting, guys. So, excuse Peppa Pig in the background, guys. So I've got Dark Rider shooting at these, misses. Bolt Thrower shoots at this and causes 3 casualties. So we're going to go into combat. Alright, guys, so combat. Wasn't sure about this one. I did do 7 wounds on him. So I got the Midnight Cloak, so it's D3 wounds. Lots of hits, lots of wounds on him, and then he smashed me back. My bastard opponent actually nicked my dice and caused a killing wound on it. I don't think they should be allowed personally, but never mind. They've passed their panic. Dreadlord passes his panic just. So we're going into Orcs and Goblins turn 5, guys.
Mouse to overrun to riders.
Right, guys, charges then saw the Squigs charge the Dread Elf, sorry, Lord, Dread Elf, or Lord, yeah, thing. So it's been a long game. He fled. This Shaman then declared a charge against him, so he had to flee again. The Goblins made a short range rear charge in which I stood for, because I think hopefully I should be good in the flanker. The Gargantuan had a charge against the bolt thrower and failed miserably. And that was all of it, wasn't it, mate?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all his charges. Oh, he failed his rally test here, and only leaving about 3 or 4 inches on the end of the table before he runs off. That's if Cascading Fire doesn't kill him first. And I think that's all his movement, guys. So we're going to go into Magic. Share a quick overview. And that's how it is. Fantastic. Right, guys, so Magic phase sees the Shaman there cast Oi, no dying on the Goblins, and I rolled a 17. I managed to equal it. And then we rolled for, what was the other one, buddy?
Bless of the Mother Spider.
Bless the Mother Spider on the same unit, which I managed to dispel as well. So not fantastic, and we're going to go into shooting. Again, guys, once apologies if you hear Peppa Pig in the background, but it's someone's got a babysit while I play games. It sounds bad, but no, the mum is around. So shooting, he can't shoot. He failed charge. He shot into the Hydra and he did 1 wound. I managed to save. The Git launcher, which is back there, it is, shot into the Hydra and killed it. And then the Splatterer went for my general and completely and utterly missed. So we're going to go into combat, guys. Turn 4, Orcs and Goblins combat. Right, guys, so a bit of a turn of events. So I thought the Corsairs would be alright in the rear, but what actually happened is we drawn in combat, but my opponent actually lost because he didn't have a musician. So he ended up running 4 inches. I caught him. I landed just in front of the Fanatic, so I don't take anything there. So that's what it looks like there, guys. It was a bit unfortunate, really, but that's the way the dice roll. So we're going into Dead Elves turn 5. Right, these Dark Riders, guys, charged the last of the Boar Riders, who's already fleeing and fled off the board. Fantastic there. These guys failed a swift reform, so just turned to go 5 in the, yeah, you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. These guys did a full march up to here to try and claim the objective, pass on his dangerous train. She just stayed there. He failed his bloody rally test and landed like 2 inches away from the building, which is quite lucky. And that's it for my movement, guys, going into Magic. So, Magic, guys, I've only got like 5 dice or something. I'll put all my eggs into the large fireball on a spider. I get 4, I roll like 12 hits. I'll get 4 wounds and he fails all but 1. So the spider's done.
And
we've got a smouldering corpse on the field. They were just in range, but they managed to pass a panic test. So that's my Magic, and then we're going to go into shooting. So at the end of my turn 5, shooting, I'll go for 6 shots against his Shaman there, kills him. They're fine. So yeah, that's how it looks, guys. Coming into Orcs and Goblins turn 6.
right.
So he tries charging his Squigs into my Bolt Thrower or Dread Reaper.
Again, 1 short.
Yeah, 1 short. It's been quite unlucky on charges, to be honest, guys. It's been a bit upsetting from.
You may as well do that one tomorrow.
Yeah, they've come forward to claim the objective, and just going to see what happens to the squig. Bit of live action, not squig, sorry.
Of course.
What's he called now? Fanatic.
Fanatic.
So,
Or
yeah.
Madgate. He goes that way.
Now, so yeah, he's gone that way. So there's no magic,
Doesn't have
and
anything to do
we're
with
going to
it.
go into shooting. So shooting, guys. Madgit onto these, killed 2. Panic's fine. Splatterer went onto my Dreadlord, hits him. Scary times, but passes my ward save. These guys are going to shoot,
they're shooting,
and
yeah,
they've got to shoot. So I'll just come back to you in a minute. So the Orc bows shoot the Corsairs, killed 2. There's no combat to talk about, guys. So we're going to go into Dead Elves turn 6 and see what happens. Right, so guys, for the movement phase, they passed their march test. They passed their march test, but fail their stupidity. So he goes forward 6 inches. They've gone the full movement, claim the objective. They've come up their full movement and claim the objective. Luckily, they're going to get their crown of. I'll make something up in a minute. I can't remember what if they've got any crowns or whatever.
You must have something.
Yeah, he's passed his rally test just. Luckily, she's staying there, putting a familiar out to blast some fire magic at that, and that's it, guys. It's going to go into magic. So guys, magic saw an absolute phenomenal amount of dice for me in the last turn. Probably not the best use of them, but it's, yeah, not the best use of it at all, to be honest. So we cast Burning Rampant on these guys. In case the reason I wanted that one there is in case I managed to make him flee or anything like that, then they will take a strength 4 hit, but it didn't happen. And Cascading Fire, between the 2 of them, I already managed to kill 4 models. Dispel with a large fireball with authority again, and that's it for my magic. So we're going to go into my last shooting, and that'll be, and then we'll get back to you with what happened then, and we'll get back to you with scores as well. Right guys, so last turn shooting, 2 shots of these guys. Sorry, went for the multi-shot of these guys. Needed 5s. Got 1 wound, so killed 1. So that's the end of the game, guys. Really tight game. Really enjoyed it. And we'll get back to you with the scores in a second. Okay guys, so after the totals are tallied, the Orcs Goblin player took 1363, that's 1,363 points off me. And I took 2,860 points off the Orcs and Goblins. That's including all the banners and me winning the objectives. So that's a 1,500 point difference. So it's a 16-4 to the Dead Elves. It's not too bad. My unit of the game probably has to be, I'd say probably the. No, it's probably my wizard actually.
I think your wizard was great.
Yeah, it's definitely my oracle. She's absolutely smashed it today.
And general was done pretty well.
Yeah, so general's alright. You know, he's managed to rally. He's killed what he's needed to. But I'm definitely going to go for my oracle with a familiar. That's brilliant. And for you, mate, your MVP?
I think the resistance on the orcs with crossbows.
They've done alright.
They done pretty cool. I quite like the goblins, apart from the last
turn. They've done alright actually. Yeah. I completely forgot about them.
They were quite interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, disappointed with the spiders.
Yeah, spider. I don't know. He's quite tough, man. He took a lot to take down. It's just lucky I had got a strength 6 D3 wounds on him.
It's the second game in a row he never made it. Like, lost one leg short.
Yeah. Right. Let's try to have a leg chopped off. Right, guys. So that's that. 16-4 to the Dead Elves. Absolutely fantastic game. Yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in a bit.